Welcome to Ghostly. How have you been, Rebecca?
I've been good, Pat.
So this episode is a little bit different, right?
Oh, yes, I would say so.
So we were at C2E2 and we got like a last minute chance to be able to record Ghostly in front of an audience.
Yes, on the actual convention floor at Podcast Central.
Yeah, who was running that?
So it was Chuckload of Comics.
Yes.
Very, very fun group of guys. And also the Chumpcast.
The Chumpcast.
The Chumpcast. Yeah. And then Reed Pop.
Yeah.
Was also helping. And of course, C2E2, I mean, itself. So thank you to all of those people.
Absolutely.
For giving us this amazing opportunity to bring Ghostly to a huge audience. I mean, It wasn't like everyone stopped and looked at us, thank goodness. But a lot of people came by and saw our show.
All the pins that you had on the table, I gave away.
Yeah, we gave away a lot of pins this weekend.
Excuse me, buttons. They're not pins.
They're not pins. They're buttons.
Yeah, pins, I don't even know what that would be.
Or as Nick Mataragas calls them, boutons.
Yeah. Well, I wanna thank a couple people before we get into this episode. I, of course, want to thank Bob Anderson from Bob After Dark. Because he came out before dark and
he did,
and he helped us.
He doesn't always do that. You know, most of his episodes are Bob After Dark, but
right, yeah,
we were at noon, so he had to
come out before dark.
Before dark.
I don't think he wanted to. I think he wanted to sleep in. No, I'm just kidding. He was really, really excited about it.
He was great.
Also, I would like to thank Jack Blu.
Yes.
He was in the audience, and he is a paranormal historian. Mm-hmm. He is a paranormal investigator. He is a published paranormal author.
Yes, and he's working on a couple new books right now.
Yes.
And he works really closely with Tony Zablowski, who we've had on the show before.
Yeah, so since he was in the audience, I just, you're going to hear, I pull him in. And he becomes part of the show. And he was totally not prepared for this, but did an awesome job.
Yeah, I can't believe how well he just was like, sure, and just came in and helped us out. Because, it's like we do this research and we think we know, but like he does this all the time.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, hey, did we miss anything? And he's able to help us out.
Absolutely. And we do call upon Tony and Jack from time to time when we need help, when we have a question, and they're really honest with us. I remember going to Tony about our H.H. Holmes episode, and I was like, yeah, we're going to do one on him. And he was really honest. He's like, I've never heard of any hauntings from H.H. Holmes. But, we actually heard a couple of more when we were at C2E2.
Yeah, it's C2E2 overall was amazing.
Yes.
We heard a lot of stories from a lot of people at the show.
Yeah. Well, I'm not done thanking people, though.
Oh, so I'm sorry.
Let's continue with thanking people.
Yes.
I also want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to Scott Larson.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, we have to thank Scott.
So who the heck is Scott Larson, Rebecca?
Scott Larson is an author, comic book author, artist.
Amazing.
Amazing of the Visitations series.
Yes.
Which I actually started reading last year when we met him. It's really cool. So his group of characters are actually Chicago, based on Chicago characters, I guess, or people from Rose Hill Cemetery. Actually, a couple different cemeteries. I apologize. It's like so the real old Chicagoans that he has brought back to life in these stories, and all the history in the books are real, but the stories are made up. Yeah. But it's like you get to learn history, and they're like almost like a crime fighting team, and
Yes.
they
and currently the series is talking about the 1893 World's Fair.
Yes, his most recent episode or edition,
which is my favorite part of Chicago history. Yeah. We haven't done any episodes besides the H.H. Holmes episode where we kind of touch upon that, and he does not touch upon serial killers. He is taking a stance against them. He
doesn't like to give them.
Rightfully so,
time.
Maybe. I mean, we will definitely talk about him,
but it's interesting to think that there's a lot of other things that were happening at that time, and just there's just a lot of history. So, anyways, he's great. Check out his work, and he was really supportive of us this weekend.
And I also want to thank Nick Mataragas.
Yes,
I don't often thank him. Usually, I hate that he, tells me how much I mispronounce things and, what I say he wouldn't have said and stuff like that. But, I mean, he is very supportive of Ghostly, even though he's a skeptic, too. He's more of a skeptic than me.
I would think you would appreciate him more since he's your fellow skeptic bro.
Well, I mean, bros don't have to be male or female, right?
That's what you say.
It's non-gender specific.
Uh-huh.
My idea of bros.
Okay, sure. But
it's
he
not
is
short
a
for brothers.
skeptic bro.
It's just bro. Yeah,
and that's
he is.
What I would say.
He's been really supportive, and he really helped us out a lot during C2E2.
Yes.
Rebecca and I were on his show Freak of the Week, and we recorded right after Ghostly, so we
may have been a little punchy.
Maybe just a little bit. So we did our show. We were limited to 45 minutes, though, so there are some parts of our regular Ghostly that we didn't put in there that we're going to give you now.
Yes.
But we also did 45 minutes with Freak of the Week then after that. So we're just, it was an exhausting but awesome weekend at C2E2.
It was great. And as I said, we met a lot of people on the floor, just regular people that told us, when you tell them you're from a ghost podcast, they're either going to tell you about a place they know that's haunted, or their own personal ghost stories and things that have happened to them. And if we can find a way, we're hopefully going to share those with you at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not sure how yet exactly. We'll have to see how things go, but we'll hopefully find a way.
And we did some video while we're at C2E2. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we can put it together and get it out there for you guys in the next couple of weeks on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Ghostly Podcast.
Yes, definitely subscribe because there's going to be some good videos coming up.
Absolutely. And we have the ability to do videos now, so we're going to be doing more.
We've moved forward in our technology.
All right. Do you have any listener mail?
I do.
Okay.
Actually, this guy told me this story. He was really freaked out and he wanted to share it.
Was this at C2E2?
Actually, it was before C2E2.
Oh, okay.
It's you.
It's me?
Yes, you came to me and said,
you want me
I actually have a ghostly story that I want to share. I'm a little freaked out.
I said I had a paranormal event.
Uh-huh.
All right. So you want me to be the listener mail?
Yeah,
okay.
You're the listener mail.
All right. Well, stop me if you already heard this, Rebecca. No, I'm just kidding.
I have, but I want the listeners to.
Okay. So I'm put on the spot here. Jeez, I didn't know we were going to do it this way.
Excuse me. You asked to be the listener mail. I understand.
But I didn't know I was actually going to be the listener mail.
Do you want me to tell the story?
I don't know if you'd be able to.
I don't know that I'd be able to either, but you seem hesitant. So
all right. So when I was a wee little lad, I was very rambunctious. I was good-hearted, but I couldn't sit still. I was always running around. I was always super excited. The people that talk about me as a kid, they just, they're like, sometimes you were a little too much. And, I was having a too much day when I was 8 or 9. We just got a new garage. Our former garage was covered in snow, so much so that it collapsed the garage.
Wow, that's a lot of snow.
Yeah, so in Chicago, we get snow.
Does happen.
Yeah, a little bit. Actually not as much as when we were younger, I think.
No, I think, yeah.
And I'm saying we like we're the exact same age, but we're not. But anyways, close enough.
Pretty close.
Anyways, so on the garage, there was like this, it kind of looked like aluminum foil, like on the walls, that it was part of the insulation for the garage. And, well, I thought it would be cool to write something up there that would scare some people and stuff. So, but I was 8 or 9, and my spelling and my vocabulary was probably not the best at that time. So I wrote "I kill" up on up on the garage.
Wow, that's
I mean, I didn't kill.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, some stuff, like bugs and stuff like that. Maybe I did that. But and then, I just want to say that around the age of 12 is really when when I started to have this experience that eventually turned out to be more of my Buddhist side, where I found some peace. This is a crazy event. I was in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada, and they had these grasshoppers that were flying. That I guess happens yearly or every few years or something like that, where there were so many of them, and they were hitting the car, and it was like just a big mess. Well, I was walking at a campsite, and I happened to see one, and I ran over to it, and I stomped on it, killing this poor flying grasshopper. But then immediately after, I actually had a moment where I started crying and realized that, it's not up to me to take something's life. Even, it wasn't doing anything. It wasn't harming me. It wasn't in my way. It wasn't, I went out of my way to kill this thing. And so from that moment on, I just kind of had this kind of Buddhist idea of life.
So Pat developed empathy.
I guess so. Okay. At that moment. At that
Before
one
then,
moment,
you were a killer.
Obviously I kill. I kill.
Things, but after that.
So, where the paranormal side of all this comes in.
Okay, here we go.
It's about a week and a half ago. I was pulling into the parking garage by the train station. I take a train into work every day. And I pulled into a spot.
Now, do you usually pull into the same spot most days? Or close to the same spot?
Yes, but this was not my typical spot.
Oh, okay.
I actually got lucky and got there 5 minutes earlier, so more spots were available. So I was a little bit closer.
Okay.
And I happened to notice something written on the wall. I didn't really think much of it. I got on the train, went to work. And over that weekend, I started thinking about it. And Monday, it really hit me when I was coming back on the train that this was something different. So I went and I took a picture of it, and I'll send you the picture so we could post it in the show notes.
Sure.
And you really can't see it. I think this is made in chalk or something like that. But that Friday, it said "I kill."
Wow.
Now you can't see the eye anymore. When I took the picture, I could still tell that that "I" was written there. The camera didn't pick it up. You know how cameras are. They pick up orbs sometimes and, reflections of people sometimes and all kinds of crazy things. But you can never trust a camera. But you'll see that it clearly says "kill" at least. So I don't know how to feel about this. It kind of shook my skeptic heart a little tiny bit.
Wow.
What do you think?
It's just kind of like almost like a reflection of this past thing. Had you thought about the garage and what you wrote on there
from time to time? But no. What are you saying, that I woke up in the middle of the night, went to the train station and wrote it on there?
No. I'm just wondering if it was like in your mind. So, but because if it hasn't been, then that's really creepy. And it's weird that your subconscious picked up on it. Not, you saw that the writing was there and your brain in somewhere registered what it was, but you didn't realize it for a few days. Yeah.
It took me a couple days to process it. I'm oftentimes sleepy when I'm at the train station parking lot. It's either before I take a nap or after I've taken a nap, because I do a lot of train sleeping. So if you ever see me on the train, I'll be sleeping.
Yeah.
Probably. Or meditating. I meditate a lot on the train too. And I don't know sometimes
So
when
it
I'm
looks
sleeping
like
or
you're sleeping.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, very much so. But I don't know oftentimes if I'm meditating or if I'm sleeping. So
Gotcha. Well, that's very creepy.
yeah.
I don't know, but it just seems because it's not that you would park there, that it would be there, that it's
I would
phrase. And you said too, you told me that the letters looked similar to the way that you wrote them.
just slightly neater. Like how I wrote it, I scratched it in, So they're a little bit thicker, therefore they look a little neater, but like the L's really resembled my L's. Like I couldn't tell the I from the L and stuff.
And that's how you wrote it.
Yep, I guess,
as a young child. So
yeah. I wasn't the best at my writing, I guess. Still am not.
I'm also a little scared that there is a killer in your town.
Right? Yeah.
Potentially.
Well, I mean,
or another 8-year-old boy that needs to learn empathy.
Okay. Well, I think we should just get into the polls, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say we got to do the polls.
Yeah. You know what? This time I feel a little bit better about doing them for some reason.
Well,
I actually know the results.
I was gonna say because I can't. I'm sorry.
I know them pretty well.
Why don't you just tell us the results? I don't really like to think about them.
Oh, I thought this is one of your favorite parts of the show.
No.
Oh, then we can stop doing it in the future if you like. So.
No, I just sometimes I don't. They're not my favorite.
They're not your favorite sometimes?
Sometimes.
So what was the question in the last one?
Does William Henry Harrison still haunt the White House?
Yeah. Well, it was 80-20. So it was a landslide one way.
For me?
For me.
Oh.
Landslide, no. No.
Yeah, I know. It seemed people were very, very skeptical on this one.
People were actually, they felt bad for him that he was still coughing.
Yes, I did see that. Yeah.
Maybe he's got the coronavirus.
Let's not joke about that right now.
Okay.
Everybody wash your hands right now. Go if you haven't done it. Seriously, my hands are getting dry because I've been washing.
What if they're driving?
Okay, well, when you get home, no, we got to make it a habit. You get home, you come in, you wash your hands.
Maybe we should do this
story.
even when there's not a virus out.
Yes, I think this is a good thing for us to get in the habit of all the time. Yes.
All right. So with that, we are going to send you to the live episode. Also, we did not put the closing arguments in, so we will come back for closing arguments.
See you then.
Oh, hey there, Count Panic. I got a question for you.
What's that, Bob?
What do you know about Mothman, the Loch Ness Monster, ghosts, demons, and things that go bump in the night?
Not much, Bob.
Well, lucky for you, we host a podcast called Bob After Dark where we talk about legends, lore, and the supernatural.
Wow, where can I find this podcast?
Wherever you find your great podcasts at.
Welcome to Ghostly.
Is the old Chicago City Cemetery haunted?
Guys, we are live at C2E2.
Woo!
Let's hear it for C2E2, guys.
Yeah.
All right, and
All right.
I am Pat.
And I'm Rebecca.
And we have with us today the amazing Bob Anderson of Bob After Dark. He is my paranormal brother. Let's hear it for Bob After Dark.
Woo!
And he's returning to Ghostly for his second time.
Yeah.
So welcome back to Ghostly, Bob.
Oh, hey there, children of the night. My name is Bob, and I host Bob After Dark, Paranormal Podcast. And before I begin, I just wanted to say thank you to the Ghostly Podcast for having me with you guys. You guys are my podcast heroes, my podcast Yodas.
We're podcast brothers.
Yes.
That's more like what it is.
Exactly.
Stop putting us on this podium that we're not on.
It's a big podium.
It is?
Yes.
Well, I'm pretty tall. I'm not as tall as you, but I'm pretty tall.
It's more like a pedestal.
Yeah, right?
I am very...
Step ladder?
I am very, very honored to be here, and I'm very, very honored to be here entertaining our fans. We have several of you guys here, so that's great.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
exciting.
definitely. So I want to thank Chuckload of Comics.
Yeah.
Chuckload of Comics. Let's hear it for them.
Woo!
And the Chump Cast.
Of course.
And Reed Pop.
Reed Pop.
And what else?
C2E2, of course.
C2E2 2020,
Absolutely.
right? They've been making us feel so at home and giving us the chance to do something like a live podcast. It's like a major event for us, right?
Yeah, this is really amazing.
So
cool.
we truly are thankful for everything that we've learned here, and we continue to grow, and C2E2 is growing with us, I believe.
Yeah, that's great.
Definitely. So today we have a crazy episode for everyone here and everyone at home. We are talking about the old Chicago City Cemetery. Have you guys heard of it? Yeah, Jack here has probably wrote a book about it.
Several books, actually.
Right.
It is really hard to believe that something like this happened in a major city like Chicago. So let me tell you this. There was a city cemetery in Chicago where now is Lincoln Park. Like, you guys heard of Lincoln Park Zoo? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we are limited in time, so let's just get right into the episode.
All right. Yeah, normally we do some other stuff, but we're going to...
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna move on.
Do you have a ghost story for us, Rebecca?
I have a ghost story for you.
This is my
Excellent.
favorite part.
All right, so this is a ghost story.
Not my favorite part, because I'm not allowed to talk during it.
Well, it's inspired by something that we're going to debate and talk about later. So this is something inspired by real ghost sightings in Lincoln Park. All right, Lisa and her friend Taylor decided to take Taylor's young girls to the Lincoln Park Zoo. It was one of those beautiful days in March, a time in Chicago when the days are often still filled with winter chill. But today it was warm. It had been years since Lisa had been to the zoo, and Taylor and the girls had never been. It was a great day. The animals were fun, and I put my stuff in the wrong order.
The animals were probably a lot of fun. So what did those animals do?
Sorry.
Have you ever seen Animal Farm?
Yeah, it was fun. Oh, sorry. It was fun to show the kids and let them have treats, and they just had a great day. Their favorite, of course, was the barn, where they have lots of activities for kids to teach them all about farms. They got to be up close with chickens, goats, cows. It was fun and educational. What none of them knew, however, was that the barn had its skeletons.
Uh-oh.
Literally. It had been built on top of several skeletons left from when the land had originally been the old Chicago City Cemetery. The gravestones were moved, but not the bodies.
Ugh.
What?
I know. After a little while of being in the barn, the women decided to take the girls to the restroom. Everything was fine until they were washing their hands. Little Ella spoke up first. "Mommy, that lady's dress is funny looking." Lisa laughed while Taylor told her daughter to be nice. But then Jenny said, "But Mommy, she's just staring at us in the mirror." At that moment, Lisa looked at the mirror over by the girls and gasped. Sure enough, there was a woman staring at them. And her dress was funny looking. It was old, Victorian, and white. And even more terrifying, the woman wasn't solid.
Ooh.
Instinctively, Lisa turned to look behind them and saw nothing. No one was there. Little Ella said, "Where did she go?" Sure enough, when Lisa looked back, the woman was no longer in the mirror. "Let's get out of here," she said to Taylor. And they got out of there back into the bright, beautiful day before Lisa told her friend what she and the girls had seen. One of the zoo employees heard Lisa tell the story and told them that they weren't the first ones to see this lady in white. "She haunts this place," the employee said. "Her body is buried beneath the barn, and she just can't seem to rest since her grave was disturbed years ago. Luckily, we've never heard of her hurting anybody." While Taylor hadn't seen anything herself, she and Lisa decided they had finally had enough of the zoo for that day. Ella and Jenny were sad, though. They kept asking if they could go back and talk to the pretty lady. She had told them they should come see her soon.
Wow.
There you go.
Hey, Pat.
Wow. Sounds like a microclimate to me.
I was going to say, that sounds like a microclimate in the bathroom.
Well, we're going to see.
So Bob often asks me about ghost stories, and that's always my answer. It sounds like a microclimate.
And it had your favorite element of all time. A lady in white.
I know. It's
well, it's better than an
favorite.
orb, at least.
So,
I hope there's no orbs today.
We'll have to see.
My notes may say there's orbs,
Oh,
but we'll get to
no.
that.
I think
No.
there might be.
There might be.
All right, so now we're going to get to my favorite part of the show. I'm sorry that yours is the ghost story.
I like Rebecca's voice. It's calming.
Oh, okay. Mine's not?
I mean, it is.
All right, so we're going to talk about the history of the old Chicago City Cemetery.
All right.
So as a city starts to grow, one thing that you don't think about that it needs is a cemetery, right? To put bodies.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. You got to find a big place where you can put all the
dead
people.
right? Yeah. But okay, so in 1837, the state of Illinois solved that problem for Chicago by giving them a piece of land that was then outside the city limits. It was located at the southern edge of what we now call Lincoln Park.
Ooh.
Hey. So it served its purpose until 1859. So actually, it did a lot better than expected.
The cemetery did?
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
They were
business
like,
was
we
good
think
for
this
them.
is only going to house like 6,000.
To be fair, though,
10,000.
if there is one job security in the world, it's probably being some kind of gravedigger or undertaker.
I'm
Because
going to live forever, actually, Bob.
isn't that anti-skepticism is immortality?
I'm not calling it that.
No?
I'm calling it science.
Oh, are you
Yeah.
one of those people that are going to get their brain frozen and then upload it into the internet later?
Get it frozen. It already is. Right now, it's frozen. So it did a lot better than expected, housing tens of thousands of bodies. But at around 1859, there was a trend starting to bury your dead in the country so they can have some rest.
As opposed to the
rest
city
in
where
peace.
it's like loud and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
so
weird.
Hey, Pat,
they-
can I ask you a question real quick?
You can.
Do you think it matters to the dead if they're buried in the, busy or not, considering they're just dead?
What do I think?
Yeah, what do you-
personally, no, I don't think anything matters. You're dead.
That's what I'm saying. So what do you care if they're buried in the city or the country?
I didn't
just-
say that
giving
I
the
am
history.
doing this.
No,
I'm
I just-
saying that people did this.
Sure.
But so there wasn't country there. It was starting to be city, and this was also aided that there was so many bodies in the cemetery itself that people wanted to move their dead relatives to Graceland Cemetery. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and or Rose Hill Cemetery. Have you
Yes.
heard of that?
Heard of that one? Yep.
Yeah, but that wasn't the only reason that they stopped burying people in the city cemetery.
Okay. I can
So-
think of some other reasons.
So a doctor, John H. Rauch, right?
Rauch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rauch. I can't read. Began writing papers that really spotlighted a major issue that they were having. The cemetery was very close to Lake Michigan. And for those that live in Chicago, we all know that that's where we get our drinking water from, right?
Yeah.
So that's
I see a
probably
problem.
bad. Yeah, it
Yeah.
would seep into the water. The dead.
Dead bodies by the water, not so good.
Yeah, no,
you're
I don't.
drinking, yeah.
I typically try to stay away from dead things in my water, but I
Okay.
mean there is plenty,
Yeah. Okay.
bacteria and stuff like
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
So also, the cemetery was below the water table, so it would definitely feed in there.
Yeah.
So people really jumped on this, and rightfully so. But for them, it was more so because they wanted a nice, pretty park in the
I was just
area,
gonna say,
and
like,
not
could
so
you
many
imagine
cemeteries.
now if we you're like, yeah, I want to go visit the lake. Oh, I guess I'll go to the cemetery to go on the beach.
Well, it was a major event for them back
And
then.
I was going to say, once upon a time ago, people would go to cemeteries to have picnics.
well,
and
that's
that-
true.
I
And it
mean-
does
I mean, I still
happen.
do.
There are people
I
that do that.
took a Sunday stroll through the cemetery last week because it was nice.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you invited me, and I couldn't
but
make
most
it.
people are not
to see
like
our
us.
favorite.
That's no thrill seeking, but people used to go out there and enjoy their family gatherings on their Sundays. So that
Yeah.
was just normal practice.
Absolutely. But so people, they really wanted this park. They really wanted it, and the city was going to do something about it. So bodies were supposed to be moved out from 1868 to 1880. But here's the thing. They only hired 10 people to move tens of thousands of bodies.
But they gave him 12 years. I mean, come on.
I'm not a math person, so that's moving at least
Yeah, I
10
don't
bodies
know.
a day.
I guess.
Probably.
100
know.
bodies a day?
I don't want to move any bodies a day.
Yeah.
So I don't know how your math
And no-
actually
and
worked
no
out there. I'm
car-
not going to ask you to prove it,
and
though.
no
I just
cars at
I
that time.
winged that one. Or
Oh,
wing it.
okay.
Yeah.
So in 1871, there was an event that made this even more impossible, though. You guys ever hear of the Great Chicago Fire? Jack did. Jack's the
Yes.
only one paying attention to us right now. So,
No, someone else nodded. That's
Yeah.
all right. We
People
got it. We
nod.
got it.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
got it. We got
So-
a couple nods going on.
So when the Great Chicago Fire hit, we don't think about this, but it actually wiped out all the headstones from the cemetery. We think it just, burnt a bunch of buildings, but it burnt headstones.
That's so weird to
That
think
had to have
about
been a really
that.
hot fire to
Yeah.
burn stone, right?
Well, I think
Well,
it was a pretty hot
I wasn't
fire.
there, so I don't know, but I definitely
it
wouldn't
destroyed
roast a
them.
marshmallow
Well, they were
there.
wood
Hey,
back
thank you.
then.
Appreciate
They were
Thank
wood.
you,
Okay.
Jack.
Oh, I guess
that makes
much
perfect
more
sense.
Yeah.
Thanks,
That
Jack.
makes
We
much more
appreciate
sense,
that.
yeah.
So it burned everything except for the Couch Memorial.
Yeah. So if has anyone seen this before? Yeah, Jack.
The Couch
has.
Thanks,
Memorial.
Jack.
Well, Jack's seen it probably daily,
Yeah.
I think, right? So the Couch Memorial has its own little history, though. It holds the remains of Ira Couch, who was a hotel owner and real estate investor. And Ira died in 1857. Nobody really knows why it's still there, though. Although I have heard some really good theories. First, it's because it's a historic marker of where the cemetery was.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why it's there. It's the only above ground sign that there was even a cemetery there. But also because it would just be a hassle to move it. It's made of marble.
Yeah.
So those 10 people would have had to move that marble memorial all the way to Graceland. So they didn't want to do that. And but now we actually don't know how many bodies are in there.
Yeah.
So there's speculation that it could be 13. There's speculations that it's just Ira.
Well, so yeah, if anyone's ever been over by
Lincoln
Park, there's just this building. I would say it's like maybe like a shed size in your backyard you might have, but and it's got a little fence around it. And since there's no other graves around it, you wouldn't necessarily think this is a memorial.
Yeah.
You
Do you
know,
want
mausoleum.
crypt. Yeah.
Do you want to know what is not inside the couch memorial?
Microclimate.
An actual couch.
Ah,
There's no actual couch
You
inside the
don't
memorial.
know that. We've never been in it. No one.
Jack,
has a
is there an
key.
actual couch? We know you've been in there. Okay, so
No.
there might
Nobody
not be
even
a-
knows who
one-
has the keys to this
No
place.
one knows who has the keys. The family claims not to have anything. There's nothing. Like no one has been in there.
So we
in
just
a
leave
lot
it
of
there.
years. It's
So,
crazy.
So back to the cemetery itself. Nobody's really sure how many bodies were left under what is now a beautiful park. I've seen reports of over 10,000 possible bodies.
Wow.
That's what I read. Yeah, 10,000.
10,000.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And if you need proof of that story, since I'm all about the proof here,
Okay.
in 1998, a part of the park was
Excavated.
excavated.
There
Sorry,
you
I
go.
can't say that word. Southside. For the
room.
Chicago front room, yeah, exactly. For the Chicago History Museum's parking facility, and the remains of 81 people were dug up.
For just for one
Parking
little
garage,
area, parking
yeah.
garage. There you
So
go.
that's kind of crazy.
That is crazy.
So that's about all I have for the history
Yeah.
of the old city cemetery in Chicago.
It's really crazy. There's also a few other things that actually our friend Tony Zablowski, who's our favorite tour guide,
Yes.
mentioned to me yesterday, which was the Ulysses S. Grant. Is that the statue that's there? And there was definitely some stuff that happened around the statue, right? Some people hung themselves and. Oh, wait, sorry. We have Jack here,
Sorry.
and he's
We have
like
a
an
surprise
amazing
Why don't you
Jumper
introduce
historian.
yourself?
Hi,
Yeah.
I'm Jack.
Hi,
So tell us
Jack.
about the statue.
I'm a paranormal researcher and writer. The statue, so in the late
Yeah.
1800s, the statue actually, it was struck by lightning during a storm.
That's what it was.
And there was a lot
Yeah.
of people hanging out at the in the park at that time. So they all ran. So it was a storm. They ran for cover because it was raining. So they ran underneath the statue because it's kind of like
Wow.
it's being suspended by pillars.
Yeah.
And while the storm was raging, lightning struck the statue and they all died.
Wow.
Because the statue is made
Wow.
out of limestone, so it kind of was
a conductor?
You kind
conductor.
of
Yeah.
say that like a news reporter with like no feeling. Like these people just
They
died.
just died.
Jack,
long
have a
time
seat.
ago.
Have
It
a
was
seat
long
if you don't
time
mind
ago.
joining us
Yeah,
for
you
this.
can hang out.
Put your headphones on, too, so you
Yeah.
can hear
Yeah,
there
put some
you go.
headphones on and we'll get you going
Absolutely.
here.
Yeah, and then he also mentioned the suicide bridge.
Yeah, so also in the late 1800s, there was a bridge that became known as a suicide bridge because of the frequent suicides that were happening there. It was
Wow.
a popular place for drunks, prostitutes. They would often hang out there, and it eventually became known.
Wait, do you have the
for
address
suicide.
for that? I want to. I mean, I'm sorry. No, never mind.
Pat,
I
this is a
wanna
family
know too.
podcast.
It
The
is.
family
it is.
podcast.
I want to hang out with the drunks.
Ask
They're
them if they've seen
fun.
any ghosts.
They probably have.
Dealt with spirits of their own.
So, Jack, tell us about yourself. You said you're a paranormal investigator. You're also a author. You're writing a book.
Yes, I've been published in Sick News magazine in Chicago Mag, and I'm currently writing a book on the paranormal.
Great.
In Pilsen, right?
In Pilsen area.
Yeah, that's one of the. I'm working
One
on
of
2
them.
books.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
All right.
So-
All right.
Multiple books. I'm
Multiple
sorry.
books.
I,
We'll
I
have
can
you
barely
on-
read a sentence
Once
in
you
a
get
book,
your
and here
books done,
comes
we'll
Pat.
have you back
Yeah.
on. to
Obviously,
talk about
I don't know how to read because Southside, that's what happens.
Your script just looks like there's a bunch of pictures on it.
There
that-
is, yeah, hieroglyphics. That's how I do
see,
this.
I see.
So-
the cemetery that was in Lincoln Park, it was actually 4 cemeteries.
Oh, that makes
Oh.
sense. That's
Put
how you got to
together.
the 10,000 bodies.
It was the Catholic cemetery, the
Yes.
Jewish cemetery, the Potter's Field, and the city cemetery.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
there you go.
And there's different stories for different parts of those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
the Potter's Field, they had a lot of people there that wasn't there Civil War people there as well?
Correct. It was
Yeah.
Confederate soldiers that,
Yeah.
that when they died in the prison camp down south,
Yeah.
they would take the bodies to the Potter's Field.
Oh, that
Wow.
I could see that causing some unrest.
Definitely.
To have to be moved to somewhere and buried in like the poor cemetery.
Right?
That's usually the Potter's Field. All right, so we did some debate, guys. We
Yeah.
talked about some ghost sightings.
Jack, you ready for a debate too?
Sure.
All right.
You are
Three
outnumbered.
believers
I am outnumbered.
against
you are-
one.
Well, Jack, are you a believer though?
Well, I try to be unbiased, and I try
Good.
to...
Thank you.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean he's a skeptic. He's just unbiased. That means he literally rides in the middle.
All right, so
I'm going to count him as a skeptic
That's
on
not
this
fair.
one. So.
all right, so anybody out in the audience, anybody walking by, we want to know your opinions here. So the first story we have to talk about is one of Pat's favorites, as Bob mentioned, A Woman in White.
Yes.
Yeah.
Woman in
So
white.
this is kind of based on the story I talked about. So there were rumors of a woman in white around the Couch Tomb years and years ago, and people like camped out to see if they could see her, and they never did. But mostly she is said to appear at the Lion House in Lincoln Park Zoo. She is seen with others wearing Victorian clothing
I
by
think she's
zoo
lying.
workers.
You see that?
We need a drum like a snare. Thank you,
Right?
Jack.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
She is said to
Sorry.
disappear pretty quickly after being seen. The creepiest part is that she's also been said to be seen in the ladies' room mirrors at the basement of the Lion House. And when the women turn around, no one is there.
Wow.
Sounds a little bit too much like Candyman, which is a preview that's been freaking me out lately. Anyways, the thought, of course, is that her grave was disturbed when they built the zoo.
So
we
Jack,
have a woman in white being seen by lots of people, and she appears in the mirror downstairs. What do you think, guys?
well, since Jack is here now, I want to hear. Have you heard this story?
Yeah, there's actually been quite a few sightings of this woman in white in a woman's bathroom in the Lion's house.
Maybe she just had to go to the bathroom.
Maybe,
Moaning Myrtle, Harry
maybe.
Potter, anybody?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, right. Moaning Myrtle.
Thank you,
Nice.
yes.
That's
Now,
I'm
how
wearing
many
a Harry
times-
Potter dress. I should
Yeah.
have thought of that.
How many
reference.
times have you been there, Jack? Just a
I'll-
guesstimate.
Oh,
Thousands?
Every day.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Have
More
you
than
ever seen this woman in
I
white?
have not. No.
No.
Have
He's
you-
building a case. How about for you,
I am.
Bob?
I am.
Okay, so
are you thinking?
truth be told, I did not know really too much about the story until I started researching it. I
What?
didn't know. No, really, I didn't know. So I started looking into it, and I can tell you that based on the evidence that we have and based on the history behind it, if there is a haunted place in Chicago, it would probably be this.
So you're using this
Seriously.
argument during this one. I mean, we have this whole thing to go.
I
so-
understand that, but it doesn't surprise me.
Okay.
Now, do I think there is a singular entity that hangs out in the mirror versus it could be anything? Probably. There's not a story of one single woman that's body got moved around or disturbed or gravesite got disturbed. So do I think that it's just one entity hanging out there? No. So maybe multiple things. One woman in white, many women in white.
There's
Multiple
There's
ghosts.
too many women in white, though.
There's also 2 mirrors there, so it acts like this infinity mirror.
Oh.
So scary. Ghosts and
Wow.
mirrors are terrifying.
All right,
All
so
right, what are you
I'm going
thinking,
to say
Skeptic?
that oftentimes people see this woman in white thing, and you were saying that that was in the bathroom. And the mirrors, I'm thinking that could add to it. Thank you for giving me that, because I really had no place to go until you said the mirrors. I really think the mirrors can add to that. It can add to that illusion, and it can make people feel that maybe there is something there.
It's like the old game Bloody Mary, right?
Yeah.
You sprinkle the water on the mirror and you say Bloody Mary, and she supposedly
Yeah,
makes
you've already
the-
said it
stop
twice.
saying that.
Stop saying the
saying
name.
Bloody Mary, okay?
Oh.
Bloody Mary. Stop saying
You
that.
can't, you just said it several times. It's
Stop
like the
saying
other.
Bloody Mary, Bob.
Stop.
What about
Okay.
what if I said the
I
other
don't mess with that.
Beetlejuice? If I say that a couple
That
times,
one's
All right,
fine.
so let's rate this story. I'm going to give it a 1.
Wow,
I'm gonna give it a
that's
1.
pretty high for you.
Especially for a woman in white, that's pretty high for me. So we go 0 to 10.
0 to 10 in believability.
So,
Zach,
Rebecca?
Jack, you can exempt yourself from this because I know you like to stay neutral. So, Bob, how about for you?
I want to say before we do this, I am super excited that I get to rate a ghost story on Ghostly.
It's very exciting.
I listen every week and I'm like, oh, this is like a 6 for me. This is like a 9 for me. So I'm very, very thrilled that I get to do this.
Yes.
Wow.
The in particular singular lady in white,
In the bathroom.
I'm going to give a
Nice.
5.
A 5.
A 5. And I'm going to run middle of the ground because
Wow.
I don't believe it's one singular entity that they're seeing on repeat.
Okay.
So, lady in the mirror, I'm going with a 1. Lady in white, I'm going with a 5. I don't
Okay.
think there's a lady
Okay.
appearing
Okay.
in mirrors.
Jack, do you want to vote? I mean, you can.
So 10 is unbelievable.
No,
and-
10 is like, I totally believe it. This is fact.
And 0 is there's no chance.
Ooh, you gave it a 1. Jeez.
I give it
I
a
know,
1.
right? He's
Yeah.
low, yeah.
Well, I'm the skeptic, so that's what I do.
I'm gonna give it a 6
Ooh.
Okay.
because there was first-hand reports that we know of. So.
Okay.
This is why I am giving
He's
it.
privy to different
I
information.
am giving it a 7.
Oh.
Yes. This is totally believable
Whoa.
to me. I think there's too many people that have reported this. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is definitely a more believable thing for me.
We do
All right.
this. We have an
All right,
audience we can ask real quick. What
I
do
know,
you
just
guys
gonna
What do you
say,
guys think?
anybody,
What do you guys think? Just
anybody-
throw some fingers up.
raise
What do you
your-
guys
Raise your
think?
hands. Anybody thinking?
The
or
woman
we'll
in
give
white
a
at
vote?
Lincoln
I see.
Park.
I see no
Woman in
fingers, so I'm going to
white.
say 0.
We got a 10.
We got
We
a
got a
10. We got a
10.
full 10.
I got a
Wow.
10.
A
All right.
7.
Anyways, what are you
Okay.
thinking?
7?
A
3. 3. I like the way you
Oh,
think.
All right.
Although you could have went a little
Yeah.
lower there, but still, I mean, I'm saying yeah. So let's move on to the
All
next
right.
piece of evidence that you have,
Okay, so
Rebecca.
this one's got multiple parts, so I'm just going to talk about it, and then we'll kind of go through the different evidence.
Okay.
All right, and you guys can respond to each piece of evidence. So the other paranormal activity I want to talk about is the general haunting activity that happens all over the zoo, but especially at the barn. That's why I brought up the barn. I kind of mixed up the stories in the first part. When they were digging to build the barn in 1962, they unearthed a full skeleton. Actually, Tony told me yesterday it was multiple skeletons, so that's pretty cool. I mean, it's not cool, but it's cool. Anyways, we'll put a picture of this skeleton that they found in our show notes and, of course, on social media. Dr. Lester Fisher, who was the zoo director, he asked the city, like, hey, found a full skeleton or 2 or 3 or 8. What should I do with these things? And he never heard back from the city. They're just like, whatever, we're done with that stuff.
Love that.
So basically, he's like, all right, put them back. And they just put the bodies back and built the barn over it. So I'm sure all of us have been to the like farm at the zoo or whatever. Yeah, built over bodies. So since then, or some say this stuff is happening even before then, there are several types of paranormal disturbances that have happened. Yeah, anybody wants a button, by the way, just come on up and grab a button. So first of all, there are disembodied voices that have been heard. So people hear, voices talking. One of the weird ones, though, that I heard is they heard people say the name Dr. Fisher, though he wasn't there.
Did they say Dr. Fisher?
Dr. Fisher? Even though he wasn't there and he was still alive.
Okay.
So it wasn't like it was him talking. Anyways, but they were mad at him because they put the bodies back. I don't know. Anyway, so what do we think about disembodied voices at the barn?
So I'm going to let Jack go first as one of the experts.
Any more information that you got?
I don't feel like that they would be angry with him because
Okay.
like he respectfully put them back.
That's true. He did rebury them where they had been.
yeah, and
so
he
that's
didn't really
something.
disturb them. So, Bob, what do you think?
I'm going to disagree with you.
Ooh,
I am
What?
wrong.
You're going to be
No.
a skeptic on this one?
no, I'm going to disagree and say they're absolutely going to be upset with him. I skeptic.
Wow.
There's a few things in the world I'm skeptical about, Pat. That is not one of them. Okay, and the reason why I'll still stick with the being angry, right? Imagine that you're at your house, right? And I pull you off your couch, I shake you up a little bit, and I put you back on the couch. And then above your couch, I decide to put a cardboard box right over your view of watching the television.
very good point, Bob.
You might be back on the couch.
This sounds lovely,
But
actually,
you're kind of
to
like,
me.
why did you bother me in the first
Exactly.
place?
And why
You were
did you
just
put,
gonna put me
and,
back.
and why did you put this cardboard box right into the view of my television viewing, right? It's the same idea with a gravesite. A gravesite is extremely, it's I don't want to use the word religious, but it is.
Well,
It's a very sacred.
Sacred.
Thank you, Rebecca.
There you
The
go.
English person in the room.
There you go. Yes.
It's a very sacred thing, right?
Yeah.
That is like I said, it's the equivalent of me removing you from your couch. And I put you back, but I decided to put this thing over it. You are still disturbing the grave, regardless of which way you're looking at it. So of course you're going to anger somebody by disrupting their sleep.
Whoa,
So,
whoa.
All right. Whoa.
what are you wowing over there?
Whoa.
We're
Okay, so
improving here. All right.
your logic is saying that yeah, of course they're going to be disrupted. That is saying that these bodies actually have some kind of feeling or some kind of entity to them. They are dead. Have
Right.
you like?
But I'm okay.
All right. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story.
Sure, hit me.
I'm afraid of dead things, actually. So I used to work at a hospital, and I was responsible for bringing a dead body down to the morgue because I was hitting on a nurse that was in ICU.
This is a family podcast.
I was
Pat.
hitting on a nurse, and she's like, "Can you do me this huge favor?" I was security, so I was like, "Yeah, sure, yeah, I could definitely do that." I got on the elevator, and so this is a freshly dead body. Okay, the legs moved, like it went straight up in the air, and I screamed like a little girl. And then I pushed the legs down. Now, I don't think that this thing felt anything though during that process.
You don't know.
I shouldn't say the bodies themselves aren't going to feel anything, but
The
the spirit
spirit
that's
that's
there,
attached
that's
to
attached
it.
and that's there.
But
I'm still
that's
gonna
what
be
we're
mad.
arguing. We're not
Well,
saying
I'm
that
not
that's
saying-
fact.
Let's get us back on track. I'm sorry,
Okay.
because I want to make sure we finish.
Pat's getting
What do
hit
you
right in
think
the
about
face.
the disembodied voices?
Okay, so voices are really that's something that we hear a lot of when it comes to like a paranormal activity. And to me, there's a lot of things that I've heard that sound like voices that aren't actually voices.
Actually, in a previous episode, we talked about one that we heard.
like I was eating with Rebecca at C2E2, and she took her fork and she touched the plate, and it made a sound like she farted.
What are
Guys.
you talking about? No,
Guys, it sounded like she farted.
No, it sounded like
Now, did she
scraping
actually
metal.
fart? No. She it was just it was just that noise.
No,
but
you
it was
said
funny
it
to
sounded like
me.
it was coming from my purse.
Your purse farted. Yeah. Yeah. So
All
I mean,
right.
I'm just
So
saying
I'm
it could be
gonna-
anything.
I'm going to say you're a no for the
You're
disembodied
going to say I'm a
voices.
no for most of this.
Yeah,
so.
all right. All right, we have phantom footsteps are heard in the barn.
Okay.
So, what do we phantom footsteps and slamming doors. I'm going to put those together.
Jack, have you heard any footsteps in the barn?
No, I haven't experienced anything. There,
Have
actually.
you talked to anyone that's heard footsteps in the barn?
Footsteps? No, I haven't talked to anyone that experienced footsteps.
I think this is a
okay.
rare thing. You know, I'm not sure how often it happens, and that's the thing about this is we never really have statistics saying, you know, it happens more than this or that.
Now, what I noticed though is you said you never heard anyone talk about footsteps. What
Right.
have you heard them talk about?
The voices.
The voices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Voices,
Okay. All right.
Which I mean, I hear a lot of voices right now, even though I have headphones on.
We're
I'm
back to
hearing
the
at least
voices?
three
I thought we
other
moved-
voices.
I thought we moved on.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
All right,
sorry.
all right,
I can't move on.
If I may, on the footsteps thing,
Yeah.
because
Yes.
I'm going to back you up on this one, Pat.
Ooh.
Ooh.
You're in a barn, right? And there are animals that hang out in said
That's
barn.
true.
And I understand that maybe they're hearing footsteps coming from places that the animals that they know are there. I don't know what animal were specifically in the barn. Well, let's say they have cows there, right?
Yeah, cows are big.
Cows
right.
are in the
cow,
barn.
The cow may be in the barn, right? And you may not hear the noise coming from the cow. I'll be family friendly. There are releases of things from said cows that are going to attract other animals to the area.
Wait, you came on Ghostly to talk about poopies?
Pat.
Okay.
I'm trying to be professional.
Talking about, so you're saying, well, I could see though in a barn that like if an animal has footsteps that might echo
Exactly.
and
Or-
sound like it was coming from a different area,
Or-
and
Okay.
you think it's like
Or a tr-
disembodied footsteps,
Right. Or it's what I'm saying is it might be attracting another animal that you might not have inventory of. For example,
Gotcha.
a bird may come in and tap at the woodpecker, termites.
Gotcha.
I don't buy into that one so much, only because there's other animals in the barn.
Okay.
And animals act really weird around weird things. So I'll back you up on the footsteps.
All right,
Okay.
excellent.
Doors slamming. Cows can't slam doors to my knowledge.
That is
so,
true.
Sure they can. Their tail.
No.
I mean, dogs slam doors
That's
sometimes with their
not what
Do
we're
tail.
they
talking
do they
about.
keep the cows by the doors though, Pat? You walk.
I mean,
into a
I
door-
would. I mean, I play The Sims, and The Sims are often slamming doors, and I don't see them do it, but I know that they're doing it,
Bad.
even though there's ghosts on The Sims.
Oh goodness. All right. The
So-
scary part is once you start talking about The Sims, we found out that a lot of our fan base also likes The Sims.
I love The Sims.
All right. So flickering lights. Flickering lights.
Oh, Pat's
That's
mad.
something
Look,
else
he's heated.
I'm
that
not
people-
heated. No.
people so- Jack, have you heard anybody talk about flickering lights?
In the women's bathroom, yes.
Oh,
Ooh.
there we go. That would be terrifying because it's in the basement.
Yeah.
And then there's a ghostly figure in the mirror. Yeah, that sounds like the start of a horror
right.
movie.
Hey, you guys were able to drop the name Ghostly in the Ghostly podcast?
I love that.
Yeah, we need to have a bell sound effect every time.
Yeah,
Right,
there
yeah.
you go. We
Ding,
should
ding,
put that in
ding,
there.
ding,
Ding, ding,
ding.
ding. We did it, Ghostly.
Bob, you got anything quick?
I do. So
Okay.
I know from other experiences as far as like if there's a spirit around, they are able to interact with electricity and
Yeah,
other
that's
things.
true.
I'll buy into that. If there's a spirit kicking around, I'll totally buy into flickering lights.
Especially
All right.
downstairs.
Yeah.
God, that's terrifying. All
Okay,
right.
so what I'm going to say is flickering lights, usually that is an electrical thing. Flickering lights can happen from all kinds of things. Like this light right here, it's hooked up. There's probably lots of wires that are going here, going there. Actually, looking around, there are so many wires. I mean, I could easily see that this can cause a problem. Or also, it could be that there's too many pulls from the electricity that are causing this to happen, that there's not enough electricity going in. That can happen.
I feel like electricity is the one area where believers and skeptics will never meet.
Yeah.
Because there's too many easy explanations for like, well, it's just flickering, like it's electricity. And then we're like, yeah, but there's energy and energy doesn't die. And like, of course it's going to be there. So it's this, we're never going to agree on this one. I
No,
don't think.
we're never going to
No.
agree. But I mean, lights are the easiest thing for there to happen. I mean, electricity was not something we were.
I was going to say, I don't know that Edison would say that lights were easy to happen.
I mean, for them to flicker, yeah, I would say Edison probably had a lot of flickering lights.
Yes.
All
there
I'm
you
just
go.
going to say.
All the stuff taken individually, you could probably dismiss it, but it's when you have all this phenomena
Ooh,
combined.
I like this
And that's-
guess. I
and
like
that's-
this guess.
And that's when Pat was confronted.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna rate it at the end of this part. So we
Yeah.
have one more to go,
we
right?
have one more to go. Okay,
All right,
so
we got to do it quickly though.
that's all right. We got a little time. So, so there is there are photos. So a lot of people take photos when they're at the zoo, right? And then when they get home, they notice there's a lot of anomalies in their photo.
Orbs.
Yep. So there's orbs, lights, fogs, whatever in their photos. This is another one of Pat's favorite.
Jack, what are your thoughts on orbs in general?
There you go.
Always on the fence with orbs, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. Always on the fence. It depends. I need to see the picture,
Yeah.
see what's going on.
You need
know?
to be there because what
Yeah.
about if there's a reflection of something that you didn't see happening? You know.
Right.
What about you?
Real quick.
Bob.
Orbs are the easiest thing for me to dismiss.
Yes.
In general,
Yes.
I have one of my paranormal investigator friends out there, Steve. He's the guy who usually sits and analyzes photos with orbs and whatnot.
Yeah. What do you think about orbs? We have a vote for orbs. What do you think?
You're not a fan of orbs.
No
No.
fan of orbs.
Hold on. Steve's going to tell you what he thinks about orbs quickly.
Yeah, no, I mean orbs are usually just dust.
Yeah, it could be-
and water molecules in the air. I mean, there's so
Insects.
many other things that they could be.
Absolutely.
other than a ghost.
Yeah, no, orbs are orbs are.
Thank you.
In
Thank you.
my opinion, as far as investigations,
He is a
if-
very large man, so I do not want to make him mad. So, and I know he knows how to fight because he's a wrestler, right?
Yes, but
Yeah.
I'll make it to make it real quick. As far as any kind of evidence that someone ever presents to me, if somebody comes to me at anything I'm doing and say I have a photo of orbs, I have this, it's the most easily dismissible thing you could possibly have as far as evidence. So I'm not buying into the orbs thing. Now,
All right.
fog, shadow people, things like that.
That's what I was thinking. 'Cause
I'm-
I think some of it is like ghostly figure in the photo, not necessarily
Ding,
just
ding,
orb.
ding, ding, ding.
Oh!
Hey, I do it without even thinking about it, guys.
So yeah, well, pictures in general. Pictures. I've always said pictures take a snapshot of 1 microsecond of time, or it depends on how long the exposure is. It could be longer time. Pictures are one of the most easiest things to manipulate through outside intervention. The flickering lights and the picture, definitely not buying that. Wow, somebody just broke something.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
wow.
So, all right. So now I think it's time. Let's just do like a rating for kind of this whole concept of
Yes.
the paranormal activity happening at the barn. Do we think, and maybe you don't believe all of the evidence, but taken together, does it sound like the barn is haunted? 0 to 10. Jack, do you want to vote?
Sure. For the barn itself, I'm a little bit more skeptical. I'm going to
Okay.
give it a 5 maybe. For
Okay.
the women's bathroom,
Yeah.
I'm going to give it probably an 8 because we've also got EVPs from there too.
Ah, there you go. I was going to put those in and I left them out. So okay. All right. What do you think, Bob?
The story as a whole, I think there's way too many coincidences. There's when you pick things apart individually, you could tell 100%. I'm going to go with the whole story as a whole.
Yeah.
Is an 8 or a 9 out of 10 being haunted.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow. They're yeah, you got some
Yeah.
fans out there voting for you. All right, I am also I'm going to give this one an 8. It seems like a lot of people talking, a lot of stories out there. Oh my god.
Does Pat break a 0?
Yeah.
All right, so what do you
Here's
guys
the
think I should
question.
do? Think I
Skeptics
should
in the
10?
house.
You guys are saying 10? I should go
Ooh,
10?
we got an 8.
Okay, we got an 8. We got an 8.
5.
What did you say?
5.
5.
Lincoln
Oh,
Park.
no,
We got
no,
a
no.
9. We got a 9
That's
back
the
there.
lowest we got.
I'm going to go 0.
Oh!
Sorry, guys.
The
Sorry,
swerve.
guys.
We
These are
just
all
gave you, like,
explainable
10 pieces
things.
of evidence.
These are all explainable things. There's nothing to me that calls out that says I have to believe that this is supernatural. 0.
Oh wow.
I want a 1 on the other one.
I was waiting
You
for you to
did
go.
go 1
so
on
the
the other
story as a
one.
whole, you're going with a 0. There's nothing.
0.
Wow.
Even though
Or are we talking overall the whole entire
the whole entire-
like
Well,
the
no, we're
first
talking
part
about
of the
the barn
debate?
right
Yeah,
now.
we're talking
Okay.
about the barn.
The barn.
0.
oh
Wow.
The women's
okay.
women's washroom 0.
Ooh.
Wow. All right. So, what do we think overall then? One more.
0.
Last vote for Lincoln Park. For Lincoln Park, especially we talked a lot about the zoo, but these things kind of happen all over the park.
Can I say 0 now?
You can say 0.
I'm saying 0 now. Sorry, guys.
All
Sorry.
right, all
Sorry.
right. How do we think
You're
overall?
going ahead, ladies first.
I'm going 7. I'm going 7 for the whole place because I think
7.
Yeah, some
Wow.
places are more than others. But
This is like The Price is
Yeah.
Right. They're
I
they're
know,
feeding
it's like,
them.
This is like the best to have an audience like flashing scores at us.
The overall.
That's like a million there. It only goes up to 10.
No, he's got 6.
Oh,
He's
6.
got
Okay.
6.
So it's like, yeah, okay.
So
I
I
get
was
it.
close. I was close. I got 7.
The Bob After Dark ranking of Lincoln Park overall is an 8.
Oh, your team
It's actually
said
Bob
10.
Before Dark right now.
Oh, you were just waiting for that, weren't
He
you?
was.
Yeah,
He had that plan. I think.
I've been waiting.
He's like,
forever.
I got this joke is coming, man. Bob Before Dark.
All right, Jack. What do you think overall for Lincoln Park as a whole? Do you think it's haunted?
I'm gonna go with a good 9.
9.
9. Wow.
Now-
The audience is happy with you.
Now,
There,
Jack, I want to ask you: is this one of the most haunted places that you know of?
For neighborhood wise,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say Lincoln Park is. There all sorts of structures in Lincoln Park are haunted.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
We
true.
don't have
Okay.
time to pull them real quick. Show of hands. What do you guys think?
Haunted.
We have 10.
We got 10.
6, 0. You don't even have to try.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh,
we know
Nick
what Nick's gonna
Madaraga.
say.
We got some 7s.
Says
got
0.
Sixes,
Surprise.
10s, 5s. All right.
All right, so I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I think we can
Okay,
wrap it
so
up
I'll-
here.
All right. We're breaking in. Sorry, Pat from the past. This is Pat in the future. But to all those listening, it is Pat from the not so long ago past as the other one, right?
Right. Oh
Yeah.
man, this is
this
timey-wimey
yeah,
Doctor Who
This
stuff.
is like Inception or something, right?
This is getting a little bit much.
Okay, so we're going to do our closing argument, and then Pat from the past will take it away and close out everything for
Well,
you.
Rebecca from the past will also be there.
She is there, and she helps a lot close it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying, I'm going to throw it back to me, and we'll see what happens. I don't even remember.
We will throw it back.
I don't even remember. It was so long ago. It was like a whole 28 hours ago.
It seems like a really long time ago.
It
I'm going to
does,
be honest.
right?
If like, there's no way it was just yesterday.
Right? Okay. So this is the closing arguments. This
Okay.
is our last chance to get out that one bit of information that's going to sway your vote one way or the other, or to just have you think about something. I am going to put 1 minute on my cell phone to make sure that Rebecca stays honest. She will do the same for me.
Yes. And the question on the table is the old Chicago City Cemetery haunted?
The answer is no.
The answer is yes.
Oh, that's it. Okay, we're done. No, I'm just kidding. All right, I have 1 minute, and this is uninterrupted minute. I cannot break in with anything, even if the place is on fire or something. I won't break in.
Well, no, I give you permission for that.
Okay, but just that.
Yeah, just that.
Okay, So you ready, Rebecca?
I'm ready.
All right. Here is 1 minute and go.
So I believe that the old Chicago City Cemetery is haunted. Kind of as you heard in the episode, there, maybe not all of these things are true paranormal, but to me, there have been too many people reporting too much of the same thing for it not to be true. There's been a lot of tragedy that's happened in this park. There has been a lot of grave disturbance. That sounds interesting, but actually like bodies being disturbed, as well as people dying violently. I mean, lightning strikes, suicides. There's just a lot going on in this park that to me, there is so much energy there. There's no way that, things haven't happened. And I will say, Scott Larson told me one other thing, which is that a bear cage got open years ago and they, for no reason that they could figure out. So just be careful. Just to throw that in there. I forgot to put that in the episode.
Be careful of the bear?
Be careful. I don't know at the zoo, the paranormal activity. No, the zoo is amazing. You should go. That was one thing I was nervous about with this episode. Yes. Actually, none of these things that happen there seem malicious. Even if you go and you experience some of these paranormal things, like it's fine. It's okay. The zoo is great. You should support it.
Yeah.
It's a good place.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
right.
do you got a minute for me?
I do have a minute for you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, go.
Just as I told Bob during the episode, just because something was disrupted doesn't mean that there is a soul or spirit that moves on. It really depends on how you look at things. Where is the spirit? Does the spirit lie in the body? Is the spirit waiting in the body and then all of a sudden you move it and then it gets up and gets upset about that? I don't believe so. I believe if there is a spirit, that it leaves the body when the body dies. Therefore, disrupting a dead body would not do anything. That's it. Scott Larson didn't tell me anything about a bear, but that's it. I still have like 15 seconds.
You do.
I'm done.
Can I have your time?
No.
Oh.
Why? Do you have something else to say?
No, it's fine. Okay.
No, it just isn't. That's all.
It just isn't haunted?
Just isn't haunted.
Okay. I thought you were saying it was. I said it's fine, and you're like, it isn't. I was like, I guess it's not fine.
It's never fine. All right. So we're going to take it to Pat and Rebecca in the past, and they are going to close us out, and Bob and Jack.
Yep. And tell you all about what our next episode's going to be.
And tell you what they got going on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Talk to you guys soon. Actually, I don't know how well they can hear, though.
Yeah.
March 18th is our next episode. And what's that going to be about?
The Conjuring.
The Conjuring. We're
Scary
really excited
movie
about that.
Based on a scary story.
Yeah.
One of my, this one's going to be one of those ones.
This is going to be one of those ones.
It's going to be one of those ones that scares me.
I thought this one would scare you.
No,
10,000 bodies
I
still
mean,
on
it's
the
a
ground?
lot, and it's definitely scary, but the things seem manageable. This one does not seem manageable.
Oh, okay. Well, take it away, Rebecca, Pat, Bob, and Jack of the past.
Hey, True Believers, it's Dr. David Hickney. That's right, I'm a legit PhD. Anyway, there's still a butt ton of truth out there, so we're coming back for Season 3. It starts February 28th, 2020. 2020 is a leap year, so February has a 29th day. We don't dare post on that day because, as you know, Leap Day is the Spode's once quadrennial laundry day. It gets messy. Anywho, Freak of the Week Season 3, February 28th. Elizabeth will be there too.
I want to thank you guys so much for listening. I want to thank everyone that came over here.
Yes, thank you so much.
I really wanted so many people that they had to call security to have you guys escorted away. But we almost made it. I mean, it's pretty close. People are having trouble getting by, and I like that. So please share us with your friends and family, as word of mouth is our best advertisement. Special thanks to Jack. Jack, how can we plug you?
Yeah, well, tell us about what you do. Where can they find you?
My Facebook is Jack Blu, BLU.
Okay.
My real name is Jack Chavez, but on Facebook I go by Jack Blue.
All right.
Whoa.
Wow,
I know
we just
this
got
about
some
you.
You know, Batman,
information,
you're not supposed to
people.
give off your secret identity, Batman.
That's all right. Yeah.
And they can find you a lot of times doing the tours.
Yeah, and Chicago Hauntings tours.
Chicago
I do
Hauntings
with Tony
tours.
Zabowski.
Yeah, so if
Yeah.
you take one of Tony's tours, which are amazing, you can also get Jack, so it's like a bonus.
Yeah, right?
Absolutely. All
He's
right.
got so much information.
two
It's
for one.
crazy.
Two for one. All right,
yeah.
Bob, tell us about your stuff.
Okay, so for all the audience that don't know who I am, you guys can check out Bob After Dark. It's a weekly podcast. You guys can
Yeah.
you guys can listen to my show. I'm a radio personality as well. You can listen to my show every week on Mondays or Tuesdays, and then the show gets uploaded in a couple days later. You guys can listen to me wherever you find your great podcasts at.
And where can they listen to you on Monday or Tuesday?
Facebook Live, where you can listen WJOB on the WJOB and on the TuneIn app, wherever you listen to your radios
There
at.
you go. Or
So-
Bob After Dark on Facebook.
As far as Ghostly goes, the easiest way to find Ghostly is to go to ghostlypodcast.com.
Yep.
And if you go to the Find Us page, we have all of our links. We're on every place that you can possibly listen to a podcast. We are there.
Yep, you got it.
And we're also on YouTube.
Yeah,
Can
so we
I
also have a
say,
YouTube
as a
channel.
fan of Ghostly Podcast and Bob After Dark, and as a paranormal researcher, these are the two best podcasts.
Oh my
on the
God!
Aw,
Your
thank
check's
you,
in the mail,
Jack.
Jack.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Aw.
Aw, that's amazing. Yeah, no, definitely check us out. We did a lot of video here at
Yes, we
C2E2,
did.
so we're going to be putting that up on our Ghostly YouTube channel for sure.
Absolutely.
So definitely check that out.
So our next episode will come out on March 18th. By the way, guys, this one will be
episode.
this Wednesday.
This Wednesday. A few
This
days from
Wednesday
now.
it'll be out. We're going to add some more to it because we usually do polls and we usually do a bunch of other stuff. But our next episode is going to be on The Conjuring.
Ooh.
Yes, the movie and the story behind it, and there's a lot of creepy things.
If I may, I just wanted to plug my newest episode.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
came out on
please.
Friday.
Yes.
On the 11 Mile Road. And I just want to thank you guys so much. As Jack said, you guys are, in my opinion, the best podcast there is.
You're a podcast too, man.
I like my show.
We love
There's
your show.
there's
I know.
room for all of us.
I know.
All
But The
of us.
Conjuring will come out on March 18th.
Thank you
Yeah,
guys
and
so
this
much
for
episode in
having
a few
me.
days. Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Thanks
Come
to
to
the
the
Until
fans.
next time.
We love you guys.
Yeah.
Till next
Thank
time, you
you.
guys want to say it with me?
All right, ready, guys?
Stay ghostly.
And as above, so below, everybody.